The United States entered into a financial crisis in early 2008, defined as the Great Recession, as it saw the worst rise in unemployment, rise in taxes, and stock market drops since the Great Depression.
A recession is defined as a period where a country's gross domestic product is negative for 2 consecutive periods of 3 months. When the Great Recession occurred, the United States' gross domestic product growth was negative for 5 quarters, with 4 of these being consecutive. That means that over a period of 12 months straight, the United States economy was losing money on the goods and services it produced and sold.
How does such a large, booming economy suddenly take such a dramatic downward spiral? To answer these questions and more, we talked to Julie Malone, a real estate agent in Colorado, and this is what she had to say.
Played in the recession?
A subprime loan is a loan that has higher charges versus a prime loan, and they're mostly used for people that can't qualify for a prime rate loan. So maybe people that have credit issues or something like that, so they have to pay extra.
What role did it play in the recession during that time?
Well, the recession was caused by people buying homes without being qualified. These days, people that are buying homes need money down to purchase a home. But before the recession, people were getting qualified for loans that had no business getting the loans. They weren't even verifying income, that they even had a job. So people were getting loans that they couldn't pay, and that's really what caused the recession. So that's...
Unemployment seems to be one of the most lasting impacts from the recession. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 47 months after the start of the recession, employment was still over 4% lower than when the recession began.
Life was good for real estate. Very busy. We had record selling years before the recession. Yeah.
And can you describe what effects the recession had on the housing market afterwards?
Well, the recession, the interest rates remained low, but banks could not give loans unless you qualified for them. So it was harder to get a loan because they were actually qualifying people, which they should have done in the first place, because the recession wouldn't have happened. But if they qualified and they had money down. So the recession slowed the market down. That's what it caused. Not as much building. The builders couldn't sell as many homes. So a lot of people were out of work.
Really?
Yeah.
So within your company, there were a lot of people who were laid off?
I'm independently own my own business, so it was just me. So my sales, though, did go down more.
Did they?
Yeah. But fortunately, my husband works, so we were okay. We made it through, but my contribution to our income was lower than what it was before the recession.
The housing market was experiencing severe inflation in the time leading up to the recession. The bursting of this housing bubble led to an overall loss of wealth in the United States. Many banks that had supplied loans faced bankruptcy, and people who had taken out loans lost almost everything they had as well. In order to conserve money, people began to spend much less within the economy.
Cutback in consumer spending meant a loss of profit for many businesses. Investors were no longer willing to keep their money in these failing businesses, and millions are forced to shut down all across the United States, causing an unemployment rate to rise dramatically because of this.
Which affects people's, value of their homes. So it hasn't fully recovered, but it definitely has gotten better, I think.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Economic recovery from this event has been slow, but the economy has seen growth. Even today, we still see the effects of the Great Recession. Our actual gross domestic product is still lower than our potential. And according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, the economy has recovered just over 7.8 million of the 8.7 million jobs lost. That means that over 1 million people are still